I don't want to do any more violent flicks. I'm tired of it. I've been a part of several of them. I'm really tired of it, he says. You know, I replied, I understand precisely where you're coming from, but I think we can make a fantastic statement against violence. So read it again. Consider Beverly Hills 1993. Producers in sleek Armani suits swarm the marble floor of the Four Seasons foyer. Oscar winners drink whiskey beside the grand piano while surrounded by heavy drapes. Across the room, Clint Eastwood, a young, up-and-coming actor, stands by himself. His face resembles carved stone, his eyes are narrow slits, and his arms are folded tightly against his chest. He makes jokes, boasts, and names. Everyone laughs when his story finishes with a cheesy portrayal of the elderly cowboy director, but Clint Eastwood stays silent, empties his drink, nods to the barman once, and leaves without turning around. No altercation, no scene, just a profound final silence for years. People whispered about what Clint heard, what words cost that actor his future, and shortly after the man's name disappeared from Warner Brothers cast lists. No one ever knew because Clint never gave an explanation. He didn't tweet, rant, or give tabloids juicy quotes. Instead, he just quietly and coldly erased people for all time. Now, at 95, the legend is loosening up in a few unscripted remarks. 5 names and 5 stars emerge as a pattern. Clint Eastwood never forgives them for their one major error, each of them making fun of him, questioning his vision, or assuming he would forget. They didn't merely offend a director. They also transgressed a guy who adheres to a stringent code of conduct. At an award event in 2005, the rude actor Michael Moore believed it to be harmless fun. Clint took the mick and said something that made everyone in the room freeze. I enjoy watching documentaries, and Michael Moore does too, but if he ever comes up at my front door with a camera, I'll take him out for a few gasps and nervous giggles. Clint's expression remained constant. The bad blood went deeper than a single joke, and the warning hung in the air like smoke. The Morris movie Clint, who was trained to honor World War II soldiers and provide quiet service to him, was incensed by Fahrenheit 9/11, which attacked the Bush White House and the US military and garnered awards and media attention. By that point, Moore's film seemed less like the truth and more like a theatrical production. Clint wasn't merely a performer. He had directed Million Dollar Baby and was wrapping up Flags of Our Fathers, 2 films that explored America's sacrifice for memory rather than fame. In Clint's opinion, Moore was selling the truth rather than sharing it, and they never collaborated again. Never again stood for pictures. Eastwood may grumble, raise an eyebrow, and move on if you ask him about anything else today. He believes in silent erasers rather than noisy feuds. Hackman, Gene the Traitor was Clint's co-star, equal, and some would say, mirror. Their arguments started in whispers and intensified in a single historic movie. Unforgiven Image. Clint Eastwood leads and directs a gritty, dusty western in 1992 that will go on to win an Oscar. Gene Hackman appears on camera as the vicious sheriff. Off camera, the 2 men are so animated that hardly a word is exchanged between them. Clint is calm, orderly, and respectful. Gene is heated, feisty, and quick to challenge. The first crew meeting begins. The hacker keeps pausing takes in order to get new lines. Fresh motions. Clint listens during a major scene one afternoon while remaining stoned. That line doesn't work. I'm not saying it, Hackman adds, stopping in the middle of his sentence and turning to Eastwood. The set becomes inactive. Clint doesn't shout. Instead, he just looks and responds in a tone as quiet as sandpaper. There will be no more arguments. When the shoot concludes, both men are holding gleaming gold sculptures, but they never share. Another set. Tension clings to every campfire and bar door, and they acknowledge each other's talent but show no warmth. Clint repeatedly calls back actors he believes in. Morgan Freeman, Richard Harris, Jane, and I had known Bradley Cooper for a long time, but we had never collaborated. He was in a bad mood at the time and said, I don't want to do any more violent pictures. I'm tired of it. I've been involved with a lot of them. I'm so sick of it, he says, and I said I understand exactly where you're coming from, but read it again because I believe we can make a powerful statement against killing and violence if we do this correctly. Of course, it all depends on how it's executed. If it's not done correctly, then nothing matters. However, he did reread it and returned with the words, yeah, okay, I'll do this. Insiders claim that although there was genuine respect, there was more conflict in Clint's environment, which indicates that one and done. Shortly after Clint rides on casting decisions like a cautious card player for Eastwood, Hackman resigned from acting. Real chemistry is about trust, not famous people. Once that trust is broken, even with another great, the door slams shut and never opens again. When Eastwood chose Leonardo DiCaprio to star in J. Edgar in 2011, Hollywood was buzzing with old school clashing with new school, and everyone wanted to see sparks. From the first day on set, you could feel the strain. DiCaprio's first actor, Clint Eastwood, was a tough, no-nonsense director who liked speed, quiet, and control. Clint was well known for his solo approach to filming, which involved virtually no rehearsals, straightforward setups, one take, and a cut move. Leo, on the other hand, loved to delve deeply. He wanted numerous takes, asked a lot of questions, and explored every nuance of a scene as he looked for hidden layers. The camera crew members exchanged murmurs as Clint was already packing up. It was like watching a racehorse attempt to run in cowboy boots. The air remained tight, but no one screamed or fled. Clint never moved an inch when the movie wrap premiered in theaters, and then there was stillness, no second team up, no kind words, and glossy publications as two masters with quite different styles battled in a quiet tug-of-war over how to tell the story. Clint, who enjoys rehiring actors he trusts, never called Leo again during awards season. Some insiders attribute this to a creative mismatch, while others believe Clint saw Leo as demanding and possibly a little theatrical. Whatever the reason, their paths parted like broken glass, and Clint never looked back. Clint's set was merely warmed up by Leonardo DiCaprio tossing it up. The actual earthquake occurred when this is the background as Spike Lee, who was never timid, accused Eastwood of erasing the past, and Clint, who had before confronted Outlaw gangs on screen, quickly and forcefully retaliated. Eastwood published twin war epics in 2006. Critics praised the pair, calling them a masterclass in empathy through two lenses. Two films that were tied together like a bayonet, and its sheath flags of our fathers zoomed in on the 6 Marines who raised the flag on Uema, transforming a single photo into living history letters from Uema. The camera was then flipped to allow Japanese soldiers to recount the same horrific battle from the opposite ridgeline. In 2008, while promoting his own World War II movie Miracle at St. Anna, Spike Lee, the Brooklyn voice actor who transforms every microphone into a loudhailer, saw a gap in the narrative large enough to march a battalion through. He took a press room microphone and fired a live round, revealing that there were black Marines on Uema who fought, bled, and died. We can't pretend they were ghosts. Reporters almost dropped their recorders as the remarks cut right through Hollywood's circumspect banter and entered Clint's domain, Eastwood in Northern California. New footage editors discovered the criticism and responded with a single, swift retort. The entertainment headlines exploded, with old-school cowboy clashes and modern firebrand fans taking sides like rival towns preparing for a duel at dawn. Spike shot back, calling Clinton an angry old man and promising he would never be silent for a full week. Magazine blogs and morning shows replayed the barbs like sports highlights, and viewers flooded the comment sections. Team Spike should shut his face. No long statement, no apology to her, just 6 scorching words. Clint claimed that the film concentrated on a small group of soldiers with no quotas, just a storytelling team. Spike retorted that excluding black service members was erasing real-life heroes, and the feud spread outside of Hollywood to history panels and veteran forums, raising a larger issue of who gets to tell war stories and whose faces should be heard over the din. Clint and Spike remained unyielding and motionless. Clint felt that his artistic compass pointed in the right direction, and Spike thought that history's entire map mattered. Both men stopped walking the same red carpets and avoided festival panels like opposing magnetic poles. When an event planner listed them on the same guest sheet, someone always politely declined. Even years later, when asked about each other, both men would respond with curt, chilly phrases or nothing at all. Clint has spent his life determining that when silence speaks louder than words, and with Spike, he slammed the vault door, spun the lock, and just like in one of his old westerns, the hinges rusted in place. Clint Eastwood never had to raise his voice to win an argument or reclaim his space on film. He didn't take cheap shots at rival directors, roast critics on late-night shows, or spend hours tweeting. Instead, he relied on something sharper and scarier than noise: silence. No apology, no rewrite, and no director's cut have forced it open since the legend of their standoff lives on one more bullet point in the story of a gunslinger who guards his code as fiercely as any frontier town he ever conquered. When someone crossed the line, he didn't storm the red carpet with a furious tirade. Instead, he removed them from his world as neatly as a director calling cut. One moment they were in the frame, the next they were on the cutting room floor. He watched, he listened, and he filed every slide away like a note in a well-worn journal. No cameo, no sequel, and no comeback. Hollywood is a city of second chances, but Clint's brand of quiet justice ensured that some doors remained locked forever. Keep in mind that this is a town wired for charm and endless alliances, where publicists plan lunches, directors trade favors, and actors exchange smiles to maintain their careers. Eastwood created a distinct legend. His reputation was not established by shrewd networking or party chit-chat, but rather was ingrained in stone. Working on a Clint Eastwood set was never just another job. Rather, it was a pop quiz with unanswered questions. It's your turn to enter the discussion. Do you think Clint's vow of silence was the ideal response, dignified and decisive, impossible to twist in the tabloids, or do you feel that some grudges grow too heavy when they last a lifetime? Could a handshake, a brief apology, or one honest phone call have repaired fences that talent alone couldn't rebuild? The vast majority of collaborators passed with gratitude for the opportunity to return in project after project, but 5 bold and occasionally careless names discovered that Clint's exam could result in instant expulsion. Please share your opinions below. Every perspective adds a new dimension to this Hollywood mystery, and we read every comment as if it were a new page in the script. If the behind-the-scenes legends pique your interest, hit the subscribe button and ring the bell to ensure you never miss a chapter, because for every name Clint Eastwood discreetly removed, there was another that he commended in whispered backstage chats with the actors, writers, and crew who gained his trust and maintained it. Those untold success stories are coming, and they may just permanently alter your perception of Hollywood's gunslingers.